Hello Anteaters, this is Lillian from AnteaterTV. Today I was able to interview Alexander Fung. He is the Administrative Affairs Vice President of ASUCI. Today during the interview we got to discuss a lot about his projects, his position, and even his personal story about where he came from. So it's a lot of exciting things and I really hope you enjoy this interview. Thank you. So today, thank you for coming in with our interview, Alex. We're just going to ask you a couple questions, and the first one is going to be, please introduce yourself and your responsibilities.
Yeah, of course. So, well, I'm Alex, as she just mentioned. I'm a fourth-year business administration major here. That's, I guess, about to graduate, but serving as Administrative Affairs Vice President, a lot of people don't really know what the position entails. So what I do is I lead around 80-ish staff under my office to focus on a wide range of issues that affect students. So we do a lot of background administrative work that often get unnoticed by a lot of students. So for example, like food security, addressing parking, housing, dining, legal services, student health, mental health, and we do a lot of different collaborations with, for example, the SOAR Center, the Disability Services Center, and a lot of campus departments on our campus to make sure that our students, I guess, concerns are addressed in the administration. So, yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Along with that, speaking of your commission, can you explain what and who are your commissioners, as well as like your interns, what they do on campus as well?
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, I have one chief of staff in my office. Her name is Haruka. She manages the other half of the office. Like, that's how the office is running. So I'm really grateful to have her. And then, of course, we have two food security co-commissioners. Their names are Erica Wong and Karina Lopez. And they're the ones that are in charge of trying to push the food security agenda forward. So this year, our campus is actually being looked by UC Office of the President as one of the most leading examples for food security movements in the University of California campuses.
Ooh,
so
okay.
yeah, like this is a great year to be. And Food Security Commission is a new commission that I established this year in my office to address the fact that 27% of our undergraduate students here are food insecure. And that's from a survey that was conducted by Student Affairs in June of last year. So, that's a pretty alarming rate to see that more than 1 in 4 students are actually facing food insecurity. That's pretty whack in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. They're pushing for programming education, and they're even considering running a referendum for food security and housing security programs for our undergraduate students. So that's the Food Security Initiative. Then I also have Misael Marquez, who is my campus task force commissioner that focuses on addressing parking, housing, and dining. So he works closely with those campus departments and their directors to come up with solutions and even programs for our students to just be aware about what's going on in those 3 areas. Then I have Student Life and Advocacy, and I have Rafael Carrasco as my commissioner for that one. Student Life and Advocacy focuses a lot on disability access, mental health, and student health. So he actually sits on a board called the Student Health Insurance Advisory Committee. And that's the board that decides on the UC-ship and health insurance rates for our undergraduate students. Wow. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
And then I also have a Gardening and Sustainability Commission that manages our Aurora Vista Garden, and they're also pushing for sustainability programming. Speaking of which, I have an awareness week coming up during week 7, which is next week.
Oh,
yeah.
Check them out.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And I also have NERs in Action, AIA. Most of you have heard of it. They did UCI Give Back for the past few welcome weeks during, I guess, when new freshmen come in. So it's such a good positive example for the freshmen and just the rest of the undergraduate students as well. So they do a lot of services events, and they have a beach cleanup coming up, and I feel like I'm advertising right now. They have a beach cleanup coming up at the Huntington Beach next Saturday, so come on and support if you can. Then we also have, of course, Fender Fair. Can't forget that.
Yeah.
Fender Fair is really amazing. Even though we're only doing 4 Fender Fairs this year, we're pushing for a night market.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So we're trying to plan that. We're trying to work with the student center, and that one's coming winter quarter during around week 5 or 6. Hopefully we can book the space. It's going to be in the student center terrace plus the outer ring mall area. So we have performances. We're playing like a little mini festival.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm really excited to, I guess, do that. So yeah. And I believe the last one is legal clinic. So we used to have a legal clinic on campus, but that was shut down because it was just students giving students legal advices.
Okay.
And you can see how that can be pretty problematic.
Yeah.
So they're trying to bring that back right now. So I have a whole commission led by PARF to focus on legal services and laying the foundations of what a legal clinic would be. So they're considering running a referendum in 2017.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So this is past when you were graduating.
Yeah, so that's
your legacy leads on.
Yes, yeah. So that's most of my commissions.
Besides all those projects, and I'm sure you've come with a bunch of problems, a bunch of unforeseen circumstances. Along with that, what do you think has been the biggest problem or biggest challenge and that you've overcome it?
In my office or just like my position?
Just in your position. It could be
in my
with
position?
your members or any project services.
I think it's tough because like serving as a student government executive, they don't really train you on these things. Like, you know, even as a commissioner in ASUCI too, it's tough because offers the students, you know, especially because when you're an executive, they don't really give you the tools to train your student leaders. So most of the time for me, it's like a trial and error thing.
Okay.
It was tough for me because I don't want to micromanage my staff. I want to trust in my commissioners. And I believe the other student government executives have the same problems as well in terms of delegating tasks and just like trying to learn what's the best way to work with their students. Because each executive office has around 50 to 80 members. And that's like a large group. Like you from academic affairs too, like you have a large group too. Yeah. So in that regard, it can be challenging to see how you can really motivate and inspire a large group of students when they're working on so many different things under your executive office. Yeah. So I would say that's my biggest challenge, but you know, I'm learning slowly and it's getting a lot better.
You're still a student yourself, so.
Yeah, try to take care of my health first too, and self-care first.
Mental health first.
Yeah.
But okay, that sounds incredible and that's good that you've been able to take care of yourself too.
Well, I have to, yeah.
Okay, along with that, another question that we've been wondering is, what is the next biggest project we can expect from Administration Affairs?
Administrative affairs. Okay, so the biggest project that we're really pushing forward is, of course, establishing Student Food Development Center by the year 2020. Like I said before, food security kind of is, it is an ongoing movement that has a lot of momentum. And this committee that I currently sit on, under UC Office of the President, is called the Campus Food Access and Security Subcommittee. So that committee focuses on like helping all the UC campuses in pushing their food security agendas forward. And we're really trying to get a student food development center established on each of the UC campuses by the year 2020. So that's something that is really exciting, and hopefully if we do decide to run a referendum this year, this would be the source of funding that would fund a student food development center. Which is going to be, it's not just going to be staff that's focusing on food security movements, but also programming, research projects, graduate fellowships, postdoc fellowships, and a lot of even like conference and travel grants too. So it's like a whole package that we're dealing with. Plus housing security too, because food security and housing security is interlinked. So the Student Food Development Center will also provide things like emergency housing eviction funds for students who cannot afford housing temporarily. Just things like that, things that we're trying to work on right now. So I'm really looking forward to that and see what we can accomplish for the next few months.
Okay, that sounds good luck with that.
Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, it can definitely work out.
Hopefully. But I'm confident in my staff that like they're prepared. So
that's good. Okay, so Alice, I've heard a little bit about your background and where you've come from, but can you explain to our students exactly what you've been through in terms of like your personal growth as well as like your development so far at UCI?
Well, okay, that's a pretty deep question, but I like this. So some of you may know that I am an immigrant from Hong Kong. You know, I was born there, I lived there for 10 years, and my parents, they gave up a lot for me to move here just so that I can be a more well-rounded person. And it's tough sometimes because seeing how much that they've like given up just for me to, you know, be molded into a leader that is well-rounded, it's like I really can't see where I would be today without them. And I really mean that when I say it. And it's tough too in my college career. You know, like everybody, when you go on break mall, it's easy to be like, oh, join this, or it's like, oh, join that club, rush blank, blank, blank. But what they didn't tell you is that it's easy to get involved, but it's so hard to get out from it. Like, oh, once you get involved, you can have friends and things like that. For me, I really learned the hard way. It's like the simple mindset of helping the students, and I'm sure a lot of us out there really want to help the students too. But we forget to take care of ourselves sometimes, and that's why I said self-care first.
Yeah.
And that's because I really uphold that.
Yeah.
I learned it the hard way that because I always prioritize work over health, that it's okay, maybe I'll just go buy coffee as my lunch because I don't have time to eat. I would rather do my homework, or I would rather be working on this project. But what people don't really tell you is that it comes at a price. You're spending time not taking care of yourself just so they can get ahead of everybody just by a little bit in a shorter amount of time. And for me, even for a few of my friends too, we learned it the hard way. I was hospitalized around 4 to 5 times. I'm not lying on this one. I got appendicitis when I was a 3rd year in a poli-sci class because I was so stressed out. I guess just trying to do so many things at once, so that even though my mindset was to repay my parents their generosity, trying to make them proud and things like that, but of course it's like I pushed myself way over the bars. And yeah, I got appendicitis and my heart started having problems. And these are the stories that they don't tell you behind the scenes, that it's not just me and a few of my other friends who are really hardworking to prioritize, I guess, work first instead of health, and then they suffered. Yeah. So it's really tough to even say that my college experience was really perfect, because unfortunately I learned the hard way. I'm actually one of the, I guess it's tough for me to share this, but I like to be transparent, that I'm one of the most allergic people of the planet, unfortunately. I developed these allergies because I didn't prioritize health at all. And you can say food allergies and even everything. I have a purifier in my freaking office. Yeah, because of that. And that's why, going back to what I said, I'm sorry if I'm sidetracking, it's self-care is a really important thing. That if you don't put your health first, you're not going to get anything. You're not going to have academics, you're not going to even get a job, you're not even going to be able to do anything if you don't prioritize health. So that's something that I really want to make sure that my staff get out of, other than learning to be a leader or organizing skills, etc. It's important to have that mindset. Self-care first, eat healthy food. Don't go to Panda, or don't go to Chick-fil-A all the time. Don't eat fried food. It's important to really take care of yourself. Go exercise. Go walk instead of drive everywhere. Yeah.
And if anything, food prepping, that's a kind of good sidetrack activity from homework. That's also productive.
Yeah. So if that answers your question.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story,
No,
Alex.
it's my pleasure.
It's a very inspirational story. I'm pretty sure our whole student body appreciates and admires your work, such as I do, obviously. But I really hope that you had a great experience so far with AS, and I wish you nothing more but success in your future.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem. So thank you for listening in with us, Anteaters. This is Lillian from AnteaterTV signing